At San Diego Comic-Con last weekend, a lot of new Marvel Legends were revealed, and in particular, one of the, full waves that was shown. They don't show as many full waves these days, thanks to coronavirus now re-educating us to get monthly updates. But there's something interesting about this wave of cool Marvel Legends figures. You see, it was announced that they would not be sold in stores, only online. Amazon, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, etc., etc. Now, the last time that Marvel Legends did a Marvel Knights wave was several years ago when Netflix was doing quite a few shows, Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, etc. And the figures were sold at retail. In fact, looking at that previous wave and this one, it's kind of more or less the same characters. I mean, you're not building, Man-Thing or Swamp-Thing or whatever, thing that guy is these days. But yeah, I mean, Blade for Blade, Daredevil for Daredevil, Bullseye for Lady Bullseye, excuse me. Although I do think that this new Blade is light years ahead, but that's not important right now. And of course, you get your token Iron Man because Iron Man sells, and you have to remember that Marvel Legends are primarily sold to children and adults, despite the fact that we don't think they are. It's why you get so many Iron Mans and Captain Americas in every wave. Just go look at Shang-Chi and pretty much everything else. And of course, then, we do get a pretty cool Build-A-Figure. And while there was concern that, is it not being sold because it's demonic in nature? It's not really exactly Mephisto. It's more like a mud monster or a rock monster, honestly, is how it reads to a casual fan, even though he does have, some demonic history with the comics. All right, so this cool wave, including all these characters, why is it not being sold at retail? It seems like they're popular enough, and we know that there's a history of these type of characters at retail. The answer is because there is no content. I mean, there's comic books, but those are considered basically throwaway material. But importantly, the reason that Hasbro has been so successful at keeping Marvel Legends at retail is because they've tied every wave into a content, mostly a theatrical release, although occasionally, TV show content as well. So in other words, you can't just buy Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends is divided up for each content. The previous Marvel Knights wave was tied into the Netflix show. That was the content. That's why it was taken by retail, because there was content to push it. The new version, not so much. It's just kind of darker looking characters. And it's not because one character has a skull face and another looks like a mud rock monster. It's simply because there's no content. And because Marvel Legends has switched from being a wave or SKU, an assortment that had different mixes throughout the year. Instead, it's attached to the planogram for a movie line. In other words, each Marvel Legends wave is its own SKU. There's no year-long assortment. So when a store is buying, say, Avengers toys, they're going to buy, the 3-inch segment for kids, the 6-inch segment for older kids / collectors, the role play, the this, the this, the that. Marvel Legends is sold in as part of an overall planogram statement, not a standalone assortment that gets refreshed throughout the year. That's pretty much how most toy lines are sold. You buy a scale and, every couple months you get fresh characters. That's not how it works with Marvel Legends, because they know to get placement at retail and wind up in the hands of the key customer that is buying it, they need to be tied to a movie line to have placement. Good reason for this is it allows them to clearance out product that doesn't sell without affecting other characters in other waves, because each wave is a separate SKU. The opposite of this is something like Star Wars with the Vintage series or Black series that doesn't do this, which is why characters like Lando have been hanging around the pegs for years, because it's one assortment number, not a new assortment for each new movie. So they can't just clearance it out. If they did, they'd have to clear out current product. Marvel Legends, on the other hand, by tying each wave into the movies and having them be a sort of shared wave of movie characters and comic book style characters, they're able to get retail placement. If they didn't have this, it would be much more difficult. So let's look at another example with the new Deadpool movie coming out. A lot of people were asking, in particular with, again, San Diego Comic-Con, why Hasbro would do a Deadpool Marvel Legends set as their key San Diego Comic-Con offering, when in years past we've kind of gotten much larger items and sometimes even multiple ones. Well, the reason is again tied to content. And you're like, well, wait a minute, there's no Deadpool content. Well, yes, there was. Back when this set was planned 3 years ago, the Deadpool movie was supposed to come out in fall of 2023. That has since changed, and it's now coming out. Well, it was going to be spring 24. It may even get pushed out even more now, thanks to the writer's strike and the actor's strike. But the point being is, when this set was created, Deadpool was coming out in just like 2-3 months. So it makes perfect sense to have a Deadpool offering at Comic-Con when the movie is literally the next big event for fans. Now that it's been moved out, we're left thinking, like, that's kind of weird. A Deadpool, I mean, Deadpool's cool, and, Bob the Hydra agent's cool, but doesn't really, I guess. But that's the reason. Tied to content, the content just happened to get moved out. The same thing with all those waves. If there's not a movie, and if there's not a TV show, retail's gonna pass, which is why this wave is not being carried at retail. I hope this was a good explanation and helped clear up some conceptions about how retail planogram shipping works. Thanks for sharing, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on Spector Creative.